welcome back to my channel. Today one of my subscribers asked me to make a girl gnome, and I've never done one before. So here I've got a St. Patrick's Day's couples gnome. If you want to know how to make it, stick around, I'll show you how. And if you want to see future videos like this, hit subscribe. I've got a whole Easter series coming. It's gonna be fun. Thanks for watching. Okay, for these gnomes, you're gonna need 2 pairs of knee socks. You're gonna need some doll hair. You're going to need some faux fur, and I'll put all the description where I got all that. You're going to need 2 pairs of shoes, some bling for their hats. You're going to need some ribbon. You'll need some pipe cleaner, 4 corks, 2 beads for the nose, 4 for the hands, some string, a pattern. You're going to need some weighted beads and some stuffing and some glitter foam. And I've included the pattern in the description below. The pattern's going to look a little bit different from the pattern that you have right here because I found out that the girl's hat's going to have to be a little bit smaller because she doesn't have a beard. And I made the adjustment in the new pattern. So go ahead and cut the pattern out on the fold, and then take a piece of paper and cut it out on a piece of paper. I couldn't get it all on the one piece of paper because of where the margins are. It wouldn't have printed correctly. And don't fold the glitter paper. The glitter foam, because you'll have a mess. Okay, we're going to go ahead and build the girl first. We're going to take a sock, and we're going to cut it about 1 inch above the heel. And then we're going to go ahead and fill it up with some weighted beads. I used about a full cup of weighted beads to get this weighted down. These socks I got on Amazon. They're pretty tight weaves, so it's not going to make the gnome real fat. And we're going to go ahead and add some stuffing. Just up to the heel, and then we're going to tie it off with a rubber band, and then we're going to tie it off with a string to keep all that stuff inside. Then we're going to take the other part of the sock with the trimmed in. We're going to go over this sock, and we're going to kind of make it like a girdle, so it keeps the shape of the gnome real good, and it doesn't just look like you have just a regular sock on here. And then we're going to go all the way down to the very end, and then we're going to trim off the top just above where the other sock was, and we're going to tie it off as well. And then we're going to start building the body. We're going to give her a top because we're going to add some boobs to our gnome girl. So you're going to cut off the top of the other sock so it has a trimmed out edge. And I cut it off about, say, 3 inches. Then place it over just the top of the other sock, flush with the top. And then I'm going to take some stuffing. And here's what I did. In this video, I used stuffing in it, but at the end, I took that out and I put beads in there instead. It just looked a little bit better. So if you want to skip this part and just put 2 beads under there, I used 12mm beads, and that's what I used. And we're just going to tie that top off. And then we're going to make it like an apron for the bottom part, like a little dress. And I just took a piece of the sock and cut it. And you can just kind of hold it up to your gnome and see how long you're going to need it. And then just trim it to the size. Because your gnome, you may have added more stuffing than I have, and it may be a little bit taller than mine. So just go ahead and put it up there and figure out what you need to do. Then we're going to go ahead and hem all 3 sides up about 1/4 inch. I'm going to make sure how long I want it wrapped around, and then trim it out to however big you want your little skirt to be. Then we're going to take a ribbon and put it across the top, and that's how we're going to tie it on. I'm just going to take some glue across the top, and then attach it to the body. And we're going to attach it just below the top part. And we're going to tie it in the back. And I made an adjustment to this, and I showed you in the video a little bit later on the adjustment that I made at the waist. I cinched up the waist a little bit tighter with a string. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and build our arms and our legs. And we're going to build our arms. We're going to cut our arms at 3.5 inches across. And then when you cut them open, you go ahead and cut it off at 5 inches. I didn't do it until after I put one of my corks on there. But it needs to be, the legs need to be 3.5 by 5. And we're going to go ahead and take a cork and put it down at the bottom. And that's what's going to go inside of our shoes. We're going to take 2 pipe cleaners, put them together, fold them in half, and glue them right up next to that cork. And that's where I cut mine off at 5 inches. Going to go ahead and hem up the other side so we have an even seam in the back. And then we're going to go ahead and cut our pipe cleaner off and roll that up. And it's not going to be a real tight roll. It's just mainly the cork, the weight of the cork, and so he'll have a little bit meatier legs. We're going to do the same thing for the other one. Just make sure you have a nice seam in the back to go up his leg. And we're using 2 pipe cleaners on his legs so he can bend a little bit more. He's going to have a lot of weight on his legs, so 2 pipe cleaners are what I used. I'm just going to snip that flush with the leg and then roll it up. And then be sure and do your 1/4 inch hem on the opposite side so you have a nice seam in the back. All right, now we're going to take our little tennis shoes and we are going to add some stuffing to the front part of the tennis shoe to make it a little bit more full. I didn't do this in my other St. Patrick's Day video. I wish I had of. It does make the shoe look a little bit more full. Then we're going to put glue down into the heel and we're going to add our leg. Just make sure that your seam is at the back. We're just going to push that all the way down in there and we are going to tie it off. And do the same thing for the opposite side. And then tie it off as well. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and do our arms. And we are going to, each of our arms is going to be 4 1/4 by 2 inch. And we're just going to use 1 pipe cleaner for each arm. We're going to go ahead and hem up the bottom of it so you have a nice sleeve. And then we're going to hem up one side so we have a nice seam in the back. And we're going to do that on both of them. We're going to use a bead for his hand and we're going to go ahead and attach it right at the front. And then we're going to take our pipe cleaner and attach it, butt it up right against that bead and glue it down. Do not trim off your pipe cleaner because we're going to need it to attach to our body. Then we're going to run a bead across the bottom so that the bead glues in as you're rolling it. And then we're just going to glue off that seam. Just don't forget to turn that seam up 1/4 inch so you have a nice sleeve. And we're going to do the same thing for the other one. Attach our bead at the front. Glue our pipe cleaner down and then just roll it over. And now we're going to go ahead and attach them to the arms to the body, and I'm just going to bend them to shape them on there. And I'm going to take a rubber band, put it around there, and then I'm going to tie it off. We're going to lift up both of the body, the shirt and the skirt and the top, and we're going to attach our legs. We're just going to glue them down to the front. And then I'm going to take a string and wrap it around there, and I'm going to tie it pretty tight. You're not going to be able to see that there's a separation there once you get the body and the skirt back down. Then I'm going to go ahead and glue the body down on both sides. And then pull our skirt on back down. I'm going to go ahead and tie off the arms at this point. Make sure that they're secured on there good. I'm going to put a little bit of glue underneath both arms just to make them stay in the position that you want them in. This is the hair you're going to use. I got it on Amazon. It comes in links. That's a 10-inch link. It comes in a lot more, and you just cut off 10 inches. That's 10 inches that we're using. We're just going to wrap it around our finger, and then we're going to tie it off with a rubber band, and we're going to use these for our pigtails. I braided mine after the fact. If you want to go ahead and braid them now, it's a lot easier to braid them when they're off of the body. I decided to braid them later. Okay, we're going to go ahead and attach our hair. Just put it up to the top, and we're going to tie it on there with a string. Okay, now we're going to build our hat. If you can see on to the right, I already have a hat. That's where I figured out that I needed a smaller hat for the girl. So I'm going to take this same pattern and I'm going to trim it off. But I'm giving you the correct sizes in the new pattern that's in the download section below. She didn't need as full a hat because she didn't have a beard. We're just going to glue the front edges together because we're going to turn it right side out. Just be real careful when you turn it right side out. I use those pliers. Just be real careful so you don't tear through. And I wish I had put a piece of felt in the inside of it to make it a little bit stiffer and protect a little bit more. But if you're just real careful, you can get that turned it right side out pretty easy. It'll have a blunt tip to it. It's not going to be completely pointy. Then we're just going to put it on our gnome. Make sure it fits good. Make sure our nose fits in there and it's snug. And then we're going to put some stuffing in it. I just used some regular batting to fill it out a little bit more. And then we're going to go ahead and decorate it. And I just put a ribbon all the way around the front of it. And then I made a bow out of the same ribbon. And I'm just going to attach it to the back. I just glued my ribbon all the way around it. And then I'm going to go ahead and decorate it with some flowers. Just randomly put them in there. You can decorate it however you want. And go ahead and put it on the gnome. And we're going to glue the back of it to the gnome first. And then we're going to glue the arms. Go ahead and put a dollop in there for the nose. And attach our nose. We're going to glue the hat to our nose, the very top edge of it. And then we're going to glue our other arm. All right, here's where I took her skirt off and I took a string and put it around her waist to tighten it real tight so that she had some major separation between her top and her waist. Then we're going to go ahead and start the man, build him the same exact way. And this is the only changes that we're going to make. He's not going to have a skirt and he's not going to have a top. And then we're going to we're going to do his beard. He's going to have a beard and a mustache. We're going to go ahead and take our pattern and cut it out. Be sure to cut behind the fabric, not through the fabric, so you don't cut through your beard. Then we're going to go ahead and separate his mustache, comb it out from the middle, and then we're going to attach it to his beard, just along the very top edge. And then make the hat the same way. Just attach it, figure out exactly where it covers up the beard, and then we're going to glue the beard to the body. Then we're going to decorate his hat up, pretty much real similar to the one we did the girl. We're going to stuff it, and we're going to put a ribbon around it, put it back on, glue it in the back, and then I just added a bunch of bling to it. That's table scatter that I got at Hobby Lobby. All right, there you have it, a cute little couples gnome for St. Patrick's Day. If you like the video, hit like. If you want to see future videos, hit subscribe. And if you want to be notified, hit the bell. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.